You know what else is top 5 though? This podcast. And thank you again for everyone for listening to the
That
last
was
place
so.
fans.
That was awful.
That was forced.
That was
Yeah,
so
that was
bad.
forced.
You really
It,
thought you
so
did something
corny.
good.
I
You really
honestly,
thought you did something.
You know what? What's that?
yeah, that one
It's
failed.
podcast.
I will be honest with you. It sounded a lot better in my head. God, I'm just gonna end this early.
This is what
Gosh.
happens when Josh's wife leaves.
This is what happens when we
this
have
is
to
the
talk
version
about
we-
tight ends.
Hello and welcome back to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Ethan, joined today by Josh and Ryan, and another very special guest. Third week in a row that we've had special guests. Returning once more, the toilet bowl champion. He is Alex. He still doesn't know what he's going to do with the 101, but we are grilling him.
In shadow to conceal his identity. No, just kidding.
Yeah, in shadow. He's incognito right now. That's okay because the Bills have an easy schedule this year, and this man has Stephon Diggs, so that's something to smile about.
Yeah.
But we're not here.
About that.
We're not here to talk about wide receivers.
That was
We're not
last
here.
week.
That was last week. We're not here to talk about running backs. That was the week before. We're here to talk about tight ends.
So I'm just gonna start this off by saying, why care about tight ends? There's only like 5 or so. If you play tight ends right, it's the difference between being out of the playoffs or winning a championship.
Yeah.
So
Very much so.
maybe I should switch my research topic. I know we talked about it a while ago, but maybe
There's
talk
so
about
many we can do.
the importance of tight ends.
The importance of consistent players.
Yep. And so we got quite a few. Now,
Well, speaking of which, if you go back to our league's championship matchup of, I believe it is Gronk versus Kelsey. I believe Kelsey scored 20 something points. I believe I lost in the tight end battle, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll run and confirm that.
Well, while he's confirming that, tight ends are important. Defenses too. My defense didn't score very many points either. Paul's entire team, except for his wide receivers, went off. But they are important. They win you championships in the NFL. They win you championships in fantasy. But you need to know which one you're taking. And this offseason, I mean, there's a lot of changes that happened to a lot of defenses, namely the AFC West. But we'll get to that. Ryan, do you want to go ahead and list off? Let's do our top. What do you think? Top 15. Our top 15 tight ends from this last season.
I think Gronk may have scored more.
Oh, did he? Did I win the tight end matchup?
I think
I know I lost the
22 points.
Yeah, that's what
No.
I know I lost the kicker
It was
matchup.
week. It
Because
was
my
week
kicker scored 1 point.
17.
and he
Yeah, week
scored like
17. I
12.
think
17. Yeah, it was like 20 something points.
That'd be my research topic: the importance of kickers.
There you go.
that's
Kickers.
good.
I scored 1 point in the championship game. That was my kicker.
Well, I'm saying
What a
they're important
sellout.
too.
What an absolute sellout. He took a handout from Paul, and I will stick to that to the day I die. See, Paul's not here, so I can say whatever I want. Now that the champ is gone.
So
Ryan, our top tight ends.
top
15.
tight end from last year. Top tight end. Mark freaking Andrews.
Man Drews.
Man,
the
Drew.
beast. The beast of Baltimore.
Beast of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he did great. Did great last year. Absolutely blew everybody else out of the water.
Yeah.
312 points on our point system. And I mean, the closest one to him was Travis Kelce at 273. I mean, he just
Yeah, well, I
He
mean,
was
when you
head and
have that
shoulders above
many,
them.
when you're having all of the targets for an entire
Yeah.
team, that's it. I mean, 154
yeah.
targets and 107 receptions.
I
for
was
a
gonna
tight end.
say over 100 receptions for a tight end. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And
18 points
can-
per game.
154 targets from Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised if he gets more this year, especially with that trade of Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
Who's Lamar going to throw it to? I would trust my security blanket, which would be Mark
Yep.
Andrews.
Yeah.
And
Joe?
Andrews is young too.
hmm
He is. He's still young.
Yeah, highest points per game too. Like, I mean, he's always been like on the cusp like the last couple of years, but he was kind of touchdown dependent. And then last year was
Right.
like the first year. It's like, nah, he is the de facto #1 guy in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely known that for quite a few years now.
Well, I
So,
mean,
he's just now shining though. Which
if
is
I'm
great.
looking at this next year, I think this is pretty much what we're going to see out of Andrews again, is right here. I think he's going to be tied in one. I think he's going to be around 300 points, over 1,000 receiving yards, about 9 touchdowns like what he had this year, probably more. So, I mean, I think this is what we're looking at for next year is
Oh, yeah.
Andrews tied in one.
I definitely think next year, I mean, the Ravens basically doubled down in the draft and said, no, this offense runs through tight ends.
Yeah.
Not only with the trade of Hollywood, even though he obviously wanted to be gone, but and Andrew's getting all the targets, and then you draft Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kohler after that.
Yeah.
I mean, and then obviously Lamar coming back healthy. What's crazy about all this is the fact that for the last 5 games, Andrews didn't have Lamar with him.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
it's
Who
like,
even has Mark Andrews in fantasy?
I believe
Your sister.
Michaela does.
Yeah.
Your sister sure does.
Do you
Wonder
So-
if she knows how to use them.
Nope. No, she does not.
well, I mean, Mark Andrews has also
Wow.
entered sit and forget
Yeah, I was
status.
gonna say how you use him is you put him on your team.
Yeah.
Right.
That's about it.
I believe
take
there
him
was
in
that
a
starting
there's a
lineup.
brief stretch where she left him on the bench and had what's his name going? Ertz.
Oh,
She had
Zach
Ertz
Ertz.
going. Yeah.
I'm sure
Ertz
she
was
probably
taken off.
forgot to check it, knowing her.
And I mean, we'll
Yeah, she
definitely
did that a lot last year.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
she
was
forgot to
complaining to
check
her
her pick
every
in the
week.
first round when she took Patrick Mahomes.
She was a bye week last year.
We love you, Michaela.
Yeah.
Practically. Sorry, Michaela.
jeez.
She's a teacher, which is a really demanding job.
Yeah, she.
Catching
she's got a good
strays out
excuse.
here.
Oh yeah.
She's got a great excuse.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I mean,
that
nothing
was
else-
Manders.
Yeah.
I think going forward, sitting in this area is good. What do you think, Josh? You're the resident Baltimore fan.
I can see him being the next dominant tight end. Past Kelsey, past Kittle from a few years ago. I think Andrews is here to stay. That's
Yeah.
really how I'm feeling towards it.
Yeah, I think the only one who will come close to dethroning him, we're going to talk about here in about 4 slots. But until then,
That I can agree with you.
until then,
Yeah.
Until then,
Okay, Ron.
let's go with the tight end king of the last few years, but tight end 2, Travis Kelsey
on the champs team,
on the
Yep.
champs team. Still just as good.
recently single
Yeah.
tight end. Don't know why that's fantasy relevant, but it is a fact.
Jeez. Just outing this man. Jeez.
Jeez.
Dang.
Yeah, Travis Kelsey
All
has
right, all the
just been a
strays today.
powerhouse. Yeah, Travis Kelsey has just been a powerhouse the last couple of
Okay.
years.
I have
in
a
KC. So
I have a dynasty question for all y'all.
Yes.
When do you think the fall off starts?
Either this season or
That's-
next season.
I think
All
Yeah,
of
I would be
that.
trading him.
man,
I was about
Yeah,
to say
I'd say start trading, start accepting offers,
Paul.
but unless it's really good now, I wouldn't take it. I would wait another year or so.
I mean, the only reason.
Personally,
Oh yeah, go for it, Alex.
me personally, I think it'll be next year is when he'll start like dropping off. Because this year, since everybody on the Chiefs is kind of newer to Patrick Mahomes, he already knows that Kelsey will be in that
Yeah.
spot. So I think that unless he gets injured, I think Kelsey will still have a big year. Then next year, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to slip a little bit.
And Kelsey still has so much
Okay.
flexibility in that offense too. And that you can't just teach that to a new tight end. So it's not like he's going to be
Right.
replaced for a while. He may be like utilized less and less, but if the man's open, the man's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think why you'll see some of the decline this year is with how many less options they have. I think they might have a tendency to over rely on Kelsey, more hits, maybe some injuries, and then that's kind of going to be the end.
They have one less Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, now they only have
Okay.
Kelsey.
Yeah, and that's going to be the interesting thing. I wonder if Kansas City will prioritize the 6 to 10 yard completions instead of going for the home run shot every time.
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be a completely new system in Kansas City. And if it's not, then they're going to lose a lot of football games.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Now here's the question: is he a top 5 tight end next year?
Yes.
I'd say so.
Yeah,
Yes, as well.
definitely. Definitely. At the very least, a top tight end.
Very.
Top 5 tight
I think
end.
you're going to see the first
But-
of the injuries this season, but it won't keep him outside of the top 5.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. If he misses an extended period of time, obviously, no.
Probably
But
like a Kittle season. I
if
would
he
say.
misses a game or two, I can still see him in the top 5.
Yep, I can.
I think I'll have a Kittle season
Yeah.
last year.
I
Now,
can see that.
yep, I can definitely see that. Now we have to talk to the resident Cowboys fan here, Alex, because tight end 3 this year was Dalton Schultz, who 2 years ago was Blake Jarwin's backup. Times have changed.
Oh yeah.
Alex, tell us about Dalton Schultz.
Well, Dalton Schultz, I think, is a very good tight end, and that's part of the reason why I traded for him in the offseason was because I needed more depth at tight end and an improvement in that area. And I think since Schultz got franchise tag and he only has like a couple weeks to for them to get a deal ready, or he has to play on a 1-year deal. And I think if they don't get the deal done, I think he'll want to go off and kind of prove like, hey, y'all need to start paying me money like by next off season. So I personally don't think they'll get a deal done until July 15th. So I think that he'll be playing on the franchise tag and he'll go off. And the Cowboys traded Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup's still injured, so that's a lot of familiarity with Dak, and I can see him going off in the first few weeks, especially.
I have a question. I have a question building off of that. So last year, Dalton Schultz got 8 touchdowns, right? Do you see Dalton Schultz in this 8 touchdown range, or do you see Pollard and Elliott taking touchdowns from him in the red zone? Something to ponder. I say his touchdowns go down. I think Elliott and Pollard are going to vulture from him.
I would probably agree with that. I think that they'll probably look to run more in the red zone, and it wouldn't surprise me if Pollard got more touchdowns this year. And I think Zeke could probably still be a touchdown.
I don't know if he gets 100 targets. That's
You don't think he will?
No. So here's why, and this is why I was actually willing to trade you Dalton Schultz, because here's what I'm concerned about is that I really do believe that the reason why Dalton Schultz did so well is because Dak couldn't really push off his ankle. Like I personally don't think Dak was ever 100% last year. That's just how I'm seeing it. I could be very wrong, but that's just how it looked to me. And if now Dak being a year removed from the ankle injury, I understand Amari Cooper's gone. I understand Gallup's gone, but I think there is a bigger emphasis, and this really does show with the Tyler Smith draft pick that they want to get back to running the ball and running the ball. And that's where I think that's why you're hearing Tony Pollard being used in a Debo role, but it's really just more of like, no, we need to find ways to get him the ball. I don't know if Dalton Schultz gets 104 targets.
But that's also why I'm saying, do you think he's going to sit in this 8 touchdown range again? And I don't think it's going to
I don't think he's going to sustain that.
Okay, so what's more likely to happen? Less targets or less touchdowns?
Because
I think both.
I was going to say both.
I think there is a strong possibility Dalton Schultz falls out of the top 10.
Whoa.
Because there's a couple of people that I'm like, one, they will probably get back to what we know them to.
Darren Waller.
Yeah, that I'm looking right at you, Walrus. And then
and Hawk.
And Hawkinson's another one. And then there's another rookie tight end last year that we'll talk about afterwards, but he can join the top 10 conversation. So I just think for the first time in a while, there's a lot of intriguing talents at the tight end spot. And I don't know if Dalton Schultz is going to be one of them. That's just my opinion. Alex, are you seeing like any of that?
The tight end position is kind of hard to gauge on in fantasy, in my opinion. And so to me, it's one of those things that minus you got your top few, Kelsey's been dominant, Mark Andrews has been dominant. The rest of the bottom like the rest of the bottom, like between 5 and 10, it kind of just differs from year to year. So to me personally, I think Dalton Schultz will drop a little bit, but I still think he'll be like a top 10, maybe like in the 7th or 8th spot.
I can see that. I think it's a very honest perception. I just found it crazy that when you look at the top four, his fantasy points per game shocked me, honestly. Even though he was tight end 3, like the fact that he only averaged 12 points a game, I was like, and you were tight end 3.
Yeah.
He probably would have been tight end 4 had it not been for George Kittle missing 3 games. But
Yeah.
the fact that I was like, wow, 12 points, like that's
And
it.
Kyle Pitts only getting 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Sorry,
we'll talk
Ryan.
about him later.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a quick second, but yeah, that's where it's like, to me, Dalton Schultz became a buyer beware.
Yeah, I mean, I think the potential is there. I just think with Zeke finally being healthy, which if you weren't paying attention to sleeper updates today, that happened today. So Zeke being fully healthy with what they can do with Pollard, yeah, I'm concerned for him
Mhm.
being top 3. So, because I don't know if I can sit here and say that running backs and running backs and wide receivers at tight ends are going to have an uptick in points. I don't know.
Tight end, I wouldn't let you make that guess because we have no
Yeah.
idea how that's gonna go.
But that's the joy of fantasy.
That is the joy of fantasy, and another joy to have is having George Kittle on your team, and he is tight end 4. And look, 95 targets in 14 games. I mean, obviously, if he played the other 3, he definitely would have been a bigger impact within the year. Just injuries again for the 2nd straight year, I think, come at the worst time. So, guys, how do we feel about George Kittle going into this year?
I think he's gonna have a comeback.
I think he's gonna have a comeback, but injuries are always a concern for him. They really are. Like they've plagued him the last couple of years. So, I mean, he's still consistently been a top 10, but it's just the injuries for me.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. I think he'll probably stay in the same slot he's in, only because it seems like he gets injured. Like there's always some kind of injury he gets every year that he misses like 2 or 3 games. And so he's not like he's dominant player, but he's not dominant every single week. And so like that's why I don't think he'll really improve much. I think he'll stay in the same spot.
Yeah, I could see him in the same spot next year. Maybe, well, probably an uptick on points a little bit, but
I can see top 5 still, but probably still in this range, just because I don't know. I mean, let me check how many touchdowns he had. He only had he had 6. Probably stays in that range. I mean, we're assuming Trey Lance is the quarterback for next year. Who knows if they're going to do a lot more running the ball in the red zone too.
Here's the other thing.
That's true.
Here's the other thing. He's tight end 3 if it weren't for the 2 fumbles lost.
That too. If it weren't for the 2 fumbles, yeah, he'd be literally
He's
right
tight
there.
end 3.
Yeah.
Barely, but he would have been tight end 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's gonna have a comeback here. It's gonna be interesting with the whole Debo situation going on. And is Trey gonna be the QB? Is he gonna be ready? Are they trading Jimmy G? Who are they trading Jimmy G to? I think all of that is a factor, because then what if Lance doesn't have the chemistry with Kittle that Jimmy G did?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, but I would say what makes me believe in Kittle now more than like ever, I would say, is the fact that Trey Lance is going to need someone to rely on. And obviously there's Debo, and obviously there's Ayuk there as well, but you really
which seemed to be his preferred target was Ayuk.
Yeah. And you really do need another security blanket. And that's where within the Shanahan scheme, that's what the tight end is. And obviously when you have a talent like Kittle, then the tight end can be used for more, but usually that tight end is almost always open in a Kyle Shanahan offense. So that's the only reason why I'm like, you know what? I still think there's still a lot of value to him.
Yeah.
Man, hope these injuries stop.
Do you see his value going down with potentially running the ball more, having their running backs healthy,
Well,
having
he's
Elijah
he's
Mitchell?
28, so I would even say within 2 years you have to start looking.
Yeah,
Just
just
with
because of age and especially all the injuries that he's had,
yeah.
that decreases your longevity. So I don't know. I'd say if you do have him, I'd start shopping him out within the next year or two.
That and as the Kittle owner, I agree. So you heard it here first, everybody. Kittle's available. So all right, guys, we've made it through the first four, but let's be honest, we've been really wanting to talk about this next guy
Yes.
because this man is about to set the world on fire, and that man is
Because
Kyle Pitts
Oh,
Ryan is a jerk and
man.
drafted him in the 4th round because he knew I was going to take him.
and
'Cause
drafted
Ryan
Jamar Chase
is
in
in fact
the
a
3rd round.
slut.
I
Ryan-
I thought he was very good.
Ryan is
So-
in fact the worst.
I will say because
Matter of
Ryan,
opinion.
Ryan,
I'm not saying you deserve
yeah.
to lose in the playoffs, but look at
I
what you did in the
made
draft.
two.
Look at
I
how you
made-
started off the year, Ryan.
Am I gonna get to talk here?
No, you
No.
got to feel nothing but shame.
My two best moves in the last year's draft was drafting Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts. And I think Kyle Pitts is going to do great this year. I think he's going to get more touchdowns at least.
He's going to be tied in
There-
1 or 2 this
there's
year.
no way how he can like have less touchdowns than last year.
Yeah.
There's like
Well, yeah.
absolutely
But
Well, he
like,
did
look
just
at
score his
that.
first touchdown
He's
in
one of-
America during the Pro Bowl. So
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, that's true. He scored his touchdown overseas. Shoot.
now Marcus Mariota was a tight end lover in Tennessee. You
so
saw that with Johnny Smith
That was the scheme there. And
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still
and
Arthur
Delaney
Smith.
Walker.
Yeah, Delaney Walker was that dude.
He
But
was so good.
but the big thing why I'm more excited about Kyle Pitts is that there's surrounding help. Like there's literally
Yeah.
help finally. And
now
even
yeah.
though the quarterback quality is obviously way different, it's just still when you bring in a Drake London, a Brian Edwards, obviously Algier, like that's only going to help Kyle Pitts.
gonna take
Yeah.
the pressure off of him.
Well, he was getting
Yeah.
double teamed
Yeah, he
every game last year.
It was
and he
you
still
can't do
got
that.
over 1,000 yards.
for,
Yeah.
and let's also
As a
like
tight end.
bring this context. Yeah, rookie tight ends don't do that.
All right,
like-
here's an important question. Yes or no, will Atlanta be the worst offense in the NFL this year?
No,
Like they were
No.
last year.
No.
I don't think so. Not with all the offensive weapons. There's got to be something majorly wrong if they don't have at least a decent amount of success.
I do think it'll be one of the bottom worst offenses, though. They just won't be
think-
the worst offense.
I think they'll be in the middle.
I don't know. I
middle
want to.
somewhere.
I don't want
Uh,
to say anything about where teams are going to rank offensively until I watch the preseason.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
until all the
Sure.
injury shenanigans get out.
Yeah,
the
until
way.
the
yeah,
injury
that's
shenanigans
true.
are going, and I'm seeing what the
That's
scheme looks
true.
like. Because, like, for instance, with Kansas City, if their scheme hasn't changed at all in the preseason, they're in contention for one of the worst offenses this NFL with Patrick Mahomes.
I would agree. Or like imagine if Green Bay if they can't throw the ball.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
Watson
which
is
that's
having
very
a drop
possible.
problem in season like he's having right now in camp, I can see them as one of
Or
the worst.
or what if
But I
Alan
also
Lazar
want-
doesn't show up? That's a whole nother issue.
Yeah,
I also want to say, there was a lot of like hype against Jamar Chase last year with the same things that was happening with Christian Watson. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why-
and
But
once
that's
he got
different. That was a
in-
mental
once he
thing.
got in season. Yeah, but it may be the same
with
thing with
no
Christian
with
Watson.
with Christian Watson, it's a hand size thing. Christian
Mm,
Watson
how do
has
you
small
know?
hands
No, I don't think he has small.
because we have his hand measurements.
Oh,
his hands
but
are
how do you know if
undersized.
that's the issue?
How do you
Because
know-
he had the same problem in college.
How do you know?
Did we
what's
not
small,
watch
Ethan?
the college film?
Ethan, how do you know
But-
what's small?
I looked at the averages for NFL hand size. Well, the average man like hand size is 8.5 inches, and then in the NFL, I believe it was 9, and his are under the average like size for a average male.
Dude,
not
his
an
hands are
average
10
So-
inches.
Is that Watson?
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe I'm
Watson's
thinking of
10
somebody
inches.
else.
Yeah, I think you're
So-
thinking of someone else.
Maybe I should take him with my first pick.
So it could be.
Because
Please do that.
I mean,
Please do that.
You can do that. I just want to let you know
Please do that.
he was in our he was number one on our big board. Just gonna throw
He
that
is
out
number
there.
one on our big board.
You know what I'm saying? Never
Oh no,
know.
you could be right then, Ryan. It could be a mental thing.
I think
It could be,
because
yeah.
they said the same things about Jamar Chase. He was having trouble dropping. He was having trouble focusing on on the ball. So who knows? He might get into a game this upcoming year and just blow up. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback,
you're gonna be okay, and the
you're-
ball's gonna
yeah,
get there.
You're set.
But back to Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts though, because I think no one talks about the fact that he had 1,000 yards receiving last year, and we've always
He's the
said
first
like,
rookie or the youngest tight end to ever do it.
and we've
have
always
1,000
talked about
yards.
tight ends is like, look, if you pop out in like year 2, oh no, you're actually really good. But for him to do that in his rookie year, when most tight ends really don't turn into a like legitimate piece till like year 4, year 5, or maybe
Yeah.
year 3, that speaks to so much on
Yeah. Well, typically it's
how
year 3
insane
that
he is as a player.
shows. Like year 3 is the year for tight ends where it's like, is this guy going to be good and keep progressing, or is he not worth the investment? And so for him to show year 1, now he kind of had to, because there's a trial by fire in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was trial by fire.
But normally something like that would break a player, I think is going to be invaluable to Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was invaluable because the thing is, he is kind of a hybrid receiver, tight end, and so
Right.
getting that year of experience is going to help. I'm telling you right now, here's my hot take. I think he's tight end too.
That's what I opened this up with. I said he's tight end 1 or 2 this year.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I'm on the bandwagon for that one
Yeah.
for sure.
Here's a thought, and I'm not saying I agree with this or not, but do you think the Falcons drafting Drake London will take targets away from Pitts?
No, because
I think it'll take the heat off of him.
It'll-
and
yeah.
open him up.
It's going to open him up more, if anything.
so
I could see him in the 110 to 125 target range.
yeah, he had 100. Well, he had 110. I can totally see
Yeah.
more because the big issue is they couldn't run the ball whatsoever because Mike Davis, and then they had Cordero Patterson there as well. But
Sorry,
what
Alex.
we also saw with the Lions, that Amon-Ra really didn't explode onto the scene until Josh Reynolds got there. Like sometimes a lot of people, and especially within the fantasy community, think, oh, if you take one person away, the pie gets bigger for everyone else. But the problem is that doesn't mean like those actual targets get any better. So sometimes the best way to improve your superstar talent is to just add rather than subtract.
Right.
And that's why I think is going to help with Kyle Pitts. I
But
think
there's
that
a balance there.
there is
There's
a balance to
there.
it.
If
'Cause,
anything,
like,
I think Drake
'Cause if you
London
look at
improves.
Tennessee, so if you look at Tennessee last year with Julio Jones and AJ Brown, there was 2 major targets there that they couldn't feed. They couldn't feed both of them and Derrick Henry. So they both suffered in the passing game.
Well, it didn't help that they're always injured too. But
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
back to
that's
what you were
fine.
asking, Alex. I think Drake London improves Pitts dramatically. Also because of his play style. I mean, Drake London's play style is a 6'5" possession wide receiver. So he's like 2 Michael Thomases put together. And
Right.
that's his skill set physically. So I mean, with that, if you're always looking underneath at this big old wide receiver that's trying to run over your entire team, and then you let the tight end slip down the seam, that's going to be a problem.
And
So I think matchup wise, it'll be good. But
And
go ahead, Joel.
plus with Cordero Patterson, who can be a wide receiver or a running
Mhm.
back that gives you that
Yep.
flexibility, I think that
Mhm.
puts you in a more favorable personnel situation. So
Do
instead,
you know how annoying that's
much
going to
so.
be for other teams
yeah.
to deal
well,
with?
yeah, because also Cordero Patterson's like 6'3", 230 or something. It's insane like that.
Yeah.
So and then you have a 6'5", 220 receiver. You have a 6'4", 2 something. I don't remember Kyle's Pitts measurables.
Kyle
but
Pitts
you
is
have-
6'6".
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't just put a slot corner on any of them.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what
can you
makes-
imagine this matchup? Like you put Cordero Patterson in the slot. Like, okay, CP's in the slot. Who's in the other slot? Kyle Pitts. Who's on the outside? Drake London and Brian Edwards. So you're telling me at all 4 spots, they have a guy over 6'3".
Yeah, and I will.
How are we supposed to cover that? Who's in the backfield? Algier. Can he run? I guess we're gonna find out when we watch the season. But
And Brian Edwards is 6'3", 215, if anyone's
Yeah.
wondering. So like the thing is, you in a weird way, you have the Milwaukee Bucks as a receiving core.
oh,
For
it's the
Atlanta
Monster
Falcons.
Squad from
Okay, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't.
from Space Jam.
I wouldn't go.
No,
there.
it's the Monster Squad from
But
Space
like
Jam.
you literally
Uh,
have this like these tall targets, which for a young developing quarterback to have that giant target radius for each receiver, that's really good because that means they can save him, and then later on he'll be able to save them.
Yeah.
I'm really talking myself into Atlanta being a top 20 offense, which is a little freaky, but
I think they can. I think they can be top 20.
They can be. I want to emphasize that they
I don't
can
think
they
be
will be.
if all of the pieces come together. That's the big if.
that
If
is a-
Mariota can translate what he's doing in camp into actual games,
Mhm.
yeah, they can be. He's looked good in camp so far.
But
Now,
it's a
again,
big
it's
if.
it's
But
on
it's
Aaron.
also-
Prediction is
but it's also
Ritter will
Mariota.
take Mariota.
yeah, it's a very big if. And
So-
another big if.
Now, Mariota didn't look bad in Tennessee.
It's just
Yeah, I don't think he
uh,
had
having-
that system.
I will say the one thing that does look bad, and I don't think he's ever shaked it. For some reason his throwing motion looked massively different compared to what it was at Oregon. I don't know what
Yeah.
caused that, but it really did. Yeah, it really did. And it made him throw really robotically and not in a good way either.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I'm afraid of. And plus, you've always seen him injured. So I'm like, all right, Desmond Ritter's probably going to be on the field at some point this year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Desmond Ritter hasn't looked as good, but he's also a rookie. So
Yeah. But I don't know. We talked about big ifs earlier. Another big if we have is the next tight end. And that's if he can do it again. And that's
he's
Zach
not.
Ertz.
He's
No,
dropping.
No.
McBride.
all
McBride.
all hail McBride clan.
Yes.
All hail
Yep.
Trey McBride.
Listen, on this channel, we stand McBride.
We stand
Zach
Trey
Ertz is
McBride.
falling.
Yeah, I think Zach Ertz is an easy fall out of the top 10, even with the Hopkins suspension.
Yeah. I mean, before the draft, we thought he was gonna sit here, and then they draft McBride, and we're like, oh, wait a second. That sucks for Zach Ertz.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think McBride's really gonna take that position in a stranglehold. But even then, I think you might see some early impact from Zach Ertz to where he is another trade away candidate by midseason.
Yeah.
So-
If he is doing well, I would trade him before Hopkins gets back. Because
Yeah.
once Hopkins gets back,
It's
he's going to
over.
be on fire for the rest of
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah, but even then, like you still have Rondale, you still have AJ Green, you still have Hollywood,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he's there's just too many mouths to feed. Along with who knows, they may be trying to run the ball more. With they got James Conner, Darrell Williams in the backfield too. We'll see what happens with Kyler. Like
Arizona's
I-
going to be an interesting team next
I
year.
don't know how to chart Arizona.
Yeah,
I've been
no.
thinking
We
about it,
just
and
have
I
no
got
idea.
no idea.
Just
I'm not
keep
going to say
watching.
anything about them
So-
until the season starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see him as a top 5 team. I could see him as a bottom 15 team.
I don't really see them as a top 5. I think they're just out of the top 5 for me.
I
don't-
could see them in the top 5.
I don't know. I don't know.
I can see
I-
them doing what they've done the past few years, which is do really good. And then right around the time where it's time to get playoff ready and get some momentum going to the end of the season, they fall apart again.
In a weird way, they peak
That
too
is kind of
early
their MO.
every year.
Yeah.
They need
peak-
Larry Fitzgerald back.
Exactly.
Hot take.
That's
Yeah.
but
They
like
need Fitz.
Go.
honestly, I am
The second greatest wide receiver of all time.
yeah, okay. I
More
got
hot takes.
more hot
I agree
takes.
with that.
Oh,
More hot
boy.
takes.
Okay. But with Arizona, I'm just very concerned at the fact that each time we have seen a schematic change to how teams defend Arizona, and Cliff Kingsbury and the coaching staff can't adjust. And it almost feels like a certain college coach where it's like, hey, this is our identity, we're gonna keep going for it. And then it's like, well, the problem is you're not you're not having the awareness to understand they're doing something different. How are you going to
Yeah.
respond to it?
Right.
And the only time I've ever seen Cliff do that was was when all the injuries happened. First year coaching, he transitioned to the 2 tight end system. And I know what annoys me so much is that I know Cliff can do it. And I know Cliff can expand outside of this air raid system that he does have. The question is, will he?
Yeah.
And I think if you're looking in preseason, I know we haven't done this in a while. If you're going to look, if there's anything to look at Arizona in preseason, it's what are their base plays? Obviously, you're going to have the screens, you're going to have like the quick short passes. But if you see like, hey, I'm seeing a lot more 2 tight end sets, or I'm seeing a lot more like traditional pro style, like complexity within that offense, then take notice of that, because that means they're learning.
Yeah.
But the question is, we don't know. That's really
see.
That's what we'll
Yeah.
see.
I think
And-
that's the we don't know comment is a perfect transition to the next guy.
Or we'll see.
Yeah, the we'll see. Mr. Gronk,
Tight end 7.
tight end 7,
Yeah.
though he missed basically the entire season, which is honestly ridiculous.
Yep.
It's hilarious and at 88 targets.
Yeah, that's stupid. If Gronk is back and he plays the entire year, I could see him in the top 3 of tight ends, even at 34 years old.
Well,
Yeah.
because of massive dependence on him because Godwin's out,
Mhm.
and then I could see
They don't have Rojo anymore.
no OJ Howard, so it's just him and Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
Like I can really see that.
So, I mean, but we don't know anything. I'm actually incredibly frustrated because I'm literally sitting around looking at Tampa Bay news, and I'm a Falcons fan, so that's saying something. And so I'm sitting around waiting to see if my tight end is going to come back or not.
Yeah, that has to be like super annoying.
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
But I mean, you can make it work with Cameron Brate, but like I think also Gronk is, I mean, since he is probably the greatest tight end in the history of the game.
Yeah.
You let him have that time. Now the question is, I know you said, if he plays a full season, there's no way this man plays a full season. He hasn't for a very long time.
I think he could. I think he could. They just need to get lucky. Is basically where they're at.
I would
and
say,
they need to get him on the Tom Brady diet. Whatever Tom Brady's doing, he needs to be in the chamber. Yeah.
ASAP.
But I don't know. We'll see. I just
there's
wish there was an update because it's literally just, we'll wait and see. We really don't
Yeah.
know if he's going to want to come back or not.
Yeah.
And then they
just a big
draft a
question
tight end
mark.
too in case he doesn't come back.
They
Cade
did.
Oton.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
But I think they would have gone.
But it's going to go with Cameron Brate.
I think
Yeah.
if Gronk truly wasn't showing up, I think that you would have seen him trade back, get Trey McBride second rounds.
I think that's fair to
Yeah.
say.
Because here's how we saw it. It was Trade McBride, a couple other people, everyone else. Cade Oton was in everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Not that we don't like him.
no,
But
not that we don't like Oton, but it's just if you needed a Gronk replacement now, you go get the top guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with Brady on retiring, that helped. I think he was on the fence when Brady retired. Like, do I really want to play more? Like, yeah, it went well. I didn't get injured in anything crazy. It was probably fun. I'm assuming that he enjoys what he does. But I think with Brady coming back, it might be more of like I'm going to see like what offer comes in and then make a decision towards camp. So we'll probably know when it comes time for camp. He'll either report and play this season, or we'll know, okay, he's probably not going to play this year.
Yeah, and I wouldn't depend on him, but man, if you can hold on to him and if he does somehow play, like that's a massive boost to like a position where there's not that many like difference makers.
Yeah,
when
that can do it like that.
Yeah, when it comes to fantasy.
Now,
But if he
Cameron
doesn't
Brate would
play,
be
hopefully you have a good backup.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cameron Brate would be huge though if he doesn't play. because I think that opportunity is still going to be there.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
He won't do it like Gronk does it. Like he won't be a 30 or 40 point threat, but I think he could be a consistent 16 to 20 point threat.
I mean, that's what we talked about with wide receivers, and it still goes true. Get consistency.
Yeah, I think he would be a consistent tight end because he did well when he played. The only problem is Gronk was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So let's go to the next tight end on the list, Dawson Knox. And he's one I'm particularly having trouble
yeah,
with because they signed OJ Howard in the offseason. And even then, Dawson
Yeah.
Knox was good, but
He wasn't great.
9 receiving touchdowns on 49 catches and 71 targets.
that's what I have the issue
scares
with.
me.
Very, very touchdown dependent.
Yes, and I will actually you'll get live math updates on his touchdown rate. What is it? 9 divided by what? 49? Is that how I'm reading it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So he scored a touchdown on 18% of his catches. Yeah, that's going down.
Jesus.
Holy crap. I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah, that's not happening again.
Yeah, no, RIP Dawson Knox.
Yeah, he's a faller for me. I wouldn't be trading for him. I mean, maybe we'll see what happens this year, and then we'll know going forward. But in terms of this next season, the 2022-2023 season, I'm not a believer.
Yeah, looking at you, Tyler.
Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, but Tyler has
he
Gesicki, so
yeah, he has Gesicki and apparently Cole Kmet. And
it's okay.
but no, I mean he's still a really good player. It's just he doesn't get enough chances. Like he played 15 games and only got 71 targets. And
Yeah.
to me, that's just way too scary when it comes to looking into the future seasons where
Because even looking at Komet, you're looking at 93 targets.
well, even then, look, Noah Fant got 90.
Yeah. Darren Waller got 93. That's more so what I'd want to be looking at.
Yeah,
Like in the 90 area.
yeah, you just need that volume for sure. And Dawson Knox at 8, I think he's dropping down.
Yeah. And it's by 1.1 points and 0.1 points separating him from two actually. Well, Goddard wasn't great, but he's stuck in Philadelphia, which is a whole nightmare in itself.
I think
Yeah, no joke.
so. I mean, let's talk right on to Dallas Goedert here, who was the tight end 9. I still think he's going to be around this range because no matter what, I think you need. I think the tight end presence is too big in Philly.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know.
I think he'll drop out because Hurts is more of a running quarterback than a thrower. And I think they're going to be really run heavy. And if he does throw it, I'd rather throw it to Devontae Smith and AJ Brown.
Yeah.
but my counterpoint to that is that you're going to have AJ Brown covered. You're going to have Devontae Smith covered. Who would you rather throw to, Jalen Reagor or Dallas Goedert?
Jalen Reagor, obviously, because he's going to drop it. And then listen, here's the scheme. Here's the scheme. There are going to be a lot of situations this year where you're going to throw it to Reagor knowing that he's not going to catch it to set up your punt unit. It's all strategy. Never let them guess what you're going to do next.
He went to the Torrey Smith school of getting pass interference calls.
That's what it is. Well, hey, that one guy in Dallas, he had the most of anybody. Your cornerback too. What was his name? Number 30.
Oh, Anthony Brown.
Anthony Brown.
Well,
Good old Mr. PI himself.
Poor Anthony Brown. Dude, he looked so good in like 2017. Poor Anthony Brown.
He was good. He just gave up so many penalties.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're not here. We're not talking about defenses next. Well, we'll get to defenses next because we will be talking about the Dallas defense
at some point.
But Goddard, yeah, I could see him at tight end 9. I feel like there's not a whole lot to say about him. He's stuck with Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown just joined the team. That might eat a little bit too. I don't know if their emphasis is to be like, Jalen, you have to throw the football or what.
I mean, I think they've basically have said we're going to throw the football more. And plus, let's also think about this. Miles Sanders was definitely the top back last year. But the big thing
Mhm.
about Miles Sanders is why he was rated so low. No touchdowns.
Yeah.
That
Well, that's
has
because
to change. That
their
has
first 10 games, they
sucked,
could not
yeah.
figure out the run game.
Yeah, and then they transitioned to a whole new scheme. That play caller is still going to be with them this year. So I think they're still going to take that spread scheme, but you have, and I'll say this as the resident Ravens fan, you have seen the example of yes, you can go run heavy. Yes, you can play the spread run like that. And it's a lot of fun to do that. But at some point, you have to throw the ball. And I think that's what the AJ Brown trade was all about. It's like, look,
We got to open something up.
yeah, theoretically, Hurts is kind of really in his sophomore season. We're not really going to count that first year because he was behind Wentz, completely different system. Last year was kind of the rookie year. Now you give him a big body receiver. Again, what we talked about with Atlanta, the big body receiver, big catch radius to help basically make you get better, and then you'll get better over time. I think that's what Hurts is going to be. But I still think the tight end is still going to be so valuable in Philly because you need something to help take over the middle, and Goddard can still do that.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of throwing the football, Alex, we have tight end 10 in a completely new look team who could, for the first time, dethrone the Patriots. Talk to us about this guy, tight end 10.
Mike
I'll have the
Gesicki.
list.
Oh crap, he doesn't have it up. It's Mike Gesicki. It's Mike Gesicki.
Oh yeah.
Mike
Oh, I love
Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki. Yeah, I think he's a good player because like I don't know, I just see him improving each season, like for me personally. And I think with Tyreek and coming in with Jalen Waddle, I think it opens up like more like they'll take a lot of defenders out like deep and everything. And Gesicki will get more of the shorts and mid routes. And I think
Yeah,
Tua
which is
Tua-
perfect because that's
Tua-
a skill set.
Yeah, that's
They'll
what
stretch
Tua
the field
does.
for
If
him.
Tua can
And even
figure
that-
out, you got it.
Look who the head coach is, Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel being part of the Shanahan system as well, and see how they use George Kittle. So I mean, I can definitely see that role for him. It's can he fit in when you have Tyreek Hill and Waddle?
I say yes because they're gonna they're gonna stretch the field.
I say yes as well
personally.
because it's also Tua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say Mike Gesicki could theoretically be the most important person to that offense.
I agree. I say for like my prediction with him, he has more than 2 touchdowns.
No, that's for sure. I mean, look, it's not going to.
Yeah, I'd say so.
His touchdown rate is definitely not 18%.
Yeah, no, unfortunately for him.
But I mean, he had 112 targets. I can definitely see.
That's what I'm saying.
More touchdowns, same amount of targets. He'll definitely be up on the list.
He might drop in targets a little bit, but I think he'll have more touchdowns, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they'll really utilize him in the red.
yeah. So I'm gonna kind of list the next 9.
But the next guy is Alex's guy. It's your starting tight end. Alex is next.
Oh, is it really?
Dalton Schultz.
Oh, now it's
yeah,
Dalton
Dalton
Schultz.
now.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry.
Freaking joke.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and list them, Josh.
There was
Go ahead and
one
list them,
week
Josh.
all
I'm
you
gonna
listed
list them.
Go ahead and list
Oh
them.
man,
and he got me
Ethan had
0.
Ethan had this
Awesome.
entire bit all planned in
list
his head.
It's okay.
And
Go ahead and
his
list them.
failed.
Next.
All
one.
right,
He
we're
did
gonna.
it more than once.
He had 9 touchdowns. It's all right. He sucks. Go
No,
ahead and
he
list them.
did. That was all he had. He had one catch for like a touchdown, and boom, there we go.
All right, so
That's still 10
that
points.
leads
the next
or
10
7
tight
points.
ends in this list: Hunter Henry, Noah Fant, Pat Fryermuth, Tyler Higbee, T.J. Hawkinson, Tyler Conklin, Darren Waller, Jared Cook, C.J. Uzoma, Cole Kmet. Guys,
I think there's 3 we got to talk about.
I think there's 3. No, I'll say 4.
Yeah, 4 actually. First of which probably being no fan. Well, really quickly on Hunter Henry, I think he can get more targets this year. I think the New England offense is going to be a little bit better, but I don't know in terms of fantasy how much he's going to move.
I don't think he'll get the touchdowns because they also remember they traded for Devontae Parker. So I don't know if he'll have those red zone. Yeah.
Hey, Cole Strange all the way. Cole Strange for MVP.
Yeah. Cole Strange, my
gosh.
man. Don't mess
No.
don't mess with my man's like that. Him and Pierre
No.
Strong. So, but I mean, Noah Fant going to Seattle. He is the de facto tight end one.
Yeah, that one is interesting to me because he has chemistry with Drew Lock, and Seattle actually has a pretty decent offensive line now.
Can he stay on the field? I think that's the biggest question we
Yeah.
have.
I don't know, because that's my tight end right there is Noah Fant. I could see him going either direction, up or down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say right now 12 is a good spot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a couple people who I think will drop and a couple people who are definitely will rise past him. But I think he's going to be relevant for sure. And I think it's someone to keep your eye on because who knows, he just with how that system is, it could be Noah Fant in the red zone.
Yeah.
I
It could be.
don't know. I don't like it. I think he's out of the top 15.
I think that's
No,
also
you
fair
think
to
no Fant's
say.
out of the top 15?
Yeah.
I mean, I could
just
see it
got
either
a-
way.
Just got a feeling about a new system. Yeah, he has a familiar quarterback, but
He also
I
had
don't know,
DK
man.
and Tyler Lockett there as well. That's
Yeah.
also kind of
I see Lockett as a big dropper, though.
maybe.
I heard that Juju Smith may be QB1 by the end of the training camp.
Who knows? All right, so we talked about
Oh,
there's Noah Fant first. Actually, one I really do want to bring up is Fryermuth.
Yep.
I think he's a sneaky top 10.
yeah.
Rookie
He could be.
last year really performed.
And
He wasn't bad.
and he was more he definitely was better like during the end of the year. So like his 9.41 points, I wouldn't say doesn't really do him justice, but
Mhm.
79 targets with those many receivers and Najee Harris taking a bunch of those like looks as well. Now you have a quarterback who can actually push the ball. I really do think Fryermuth is here to stay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, do we believe in Trubisky?
All right.
Wow,
How
everyone
do you
made
mean-
the
how do
same
you mean-
face.
how do you-
Everyone made the same face. I was trying to say stone face, but I looked around and everyone made the face I was thinking of.
All right.
ahead,
What do you
Josh.
mean by believe?
Whatever that means to you, do you believe in Mitchell Trubisky to be
Do I think he
decent
can,
in Pittsburgh?
do I think he can move the ball down the field? Yes. Do I think he is going to save Pittsburgh? No, because I don't think they did enough on their own line. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they fixed their O-line problems. So
I don't believe in
I agree with
Trubisky, but I do believe in Mike Tomlin.
I think that's
a fair statement.
very fair statement.
that's true.
I mean, they're the most consistent organization in the NFL,
They're
undisputed.
Mike Tomlin's the one dude. It's like we'll figure it out at some point, and
Right.
Yeah.
like literally that offense has had to figure it out with a noodle arm Big Ben, and
Yeah.
and they just made it work. So there's nothing to tell me that they won't figure it out.
Right.
But just how effective will Trubisky / Kenny Pickett be? I don't know. But
Let me ask you a question.
I mean, we'll see.
Who do you think the two dudes are on this team between Najee, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and Freiermuth?
okay. So I'm going to take this with the context that Mason Rudolph does not start for the Pittsburgh Steelers again.
No,
Let's start
never
off with
again.
that. I think Deontay.
Not since Miles
I
Garrett
think,
knocked some sense into him.
I think Deontay's the guy. I don't think
Okay.
Claypool's there for long. And I
Ooh.
think Najee and Freiermuth are the mainstays. But this is where I'm thinking, like, I think Freiermuth is there. Like he's just entrenched into it.
Why not
think
Juju with Chase?
I think that might be Chase's role again.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't
think
know,
the staples of this offense are going to be Deontay and Freiermuth.
Yeah, I think Freiermuth still. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I have
Freiermuth.
more questions about the receiver. But as far as tight end goes, I think Freiermuth is here to stay, and that's only going to help Trubisky and Pickett.
Yeah, I mean, it's really going to come down to him and Pickett, and one who's playing, and two how they're moving the ball. Because this could be either like I would say like a top 18 offense, or like like
struggling.
yeah,
It really depends on how
Yeah.
that. Literally in AFC North, how I feel about it is that the top two O lines are Baltimore and Cleveland.
right.
Now
Cleveland
Cincinnati
being like
improved.
top 3.
Yeah, now Cincinnati improved. The worst O line in that division is Pittsburgh's.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Which it's not like it's killer, but it's not good.
Yeah, and that's going to be
But-
it's going to be the difference between a top 12 offense versus a top 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But things to watch. I mean, I think you're right. I think he could be something. Speaking of someone who could be something, TJ Hawkinson.
Yes,
That's probably the next
yes.
next jump.
Let's talk about Hawkinson.
They
I
have
mean,
the betting line
really-
on Campbell being coach of the year this year.
How?
He's the favorite.
Really?
Dan Campbell to be coach of the year is the favorite.
That's surprising.
Ooh, I like it though.
I would love to see it. Honestly, he's fun to watch on the sideline.
Texas, make it happen. That's all I'm gonna say. Texas,
Yeah.
make it happen. But
I don't know about this Detroit team though.
See,
it's way
they-
better than
they
what they started
had-
with.
That's true. That's true. But
But you have Jared Goff.
they forced it to Hawkinson when he was on the field.
But
They
they all,
had to.
yeah,
So now that they have, I mean,
I'm on Raw.
it's not
and
great,
Reynolds.
but they have, they
Well,
have weapons out there. Other than
I mean,
him.
think about who they have now. So you have, so last year it was Hawkinson, Swift, Amon-Ra was out there, and then Quintez Cephas, the man, the myth, the legend. Now you're looking at Josh Reynolds is there as kind of depth, but you drafted Jamison Williams. You still have Amon-Ra and TJ Hawkinson and Swift, but now you've added DJ Chark and Jamison Williams.
Yeah.
I think
but oh, go ahead.
Mm.
I think Hawkinson should not get murdered this year because that man was getting murdered early in the year
Yeah.
because he was
Yeah.
the only receiving option.
Yeah, because Amon-Ra hadn't really developed. He developed later on in the season and started actually producing.
And then Josh,
And-
you stole him from Michaela, him and Saquon,
Hey, we made it even.
even with an asterisk.
Why? She has like multiple picks from me.
Yeah,
You should feel
set over
bad.
the next couple of years.
You should feel bad about yourself, Josh.
I don't.
They'll probably let the
I
computer auto
don't.
draft for her anyways.
Look,
Yikes.
No, you got to get her here to draft with us.
yes.
You have to.
I'll
Because
try
here's the
to.
thing. That was all right.
Have to.
Look,
It depends when it is. If it's in August, I guarantee you she won't be
No,
in there because
No.
well, you know, with Ashley being
It's looking
Yeah,
like
well, August
early
is
July
okay.
for
Early-
our draft.
yeah.
oh, then she
full-
might tune in.
Full disclosure. That was my starting offer. I was willing to give up the first and more to make that happen. That's all I gotta say.
You're a bad human being. But all right, same question as with Pittsburgh for Detroit.
At least you didn't try to
Between-
steal ATN for Komet. Just gonna throw that out there.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not that guy.
Not that guy.
Anyways, maybe that guy lost to somebody in the playoffs in multiple leagues or multiple years in a row, but we're not here to talk about that. Sorry, Tyler. I'm not sorry. So with this Detroit team, do you see Hawkinson and Amon-Ra being the two guys? Or is it DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra? Who is it? Where does JMO fit in? Is he going to be one of the top dogs?
I
JMO
have heard Swift has been.
Swift is
really-
going to be the number one.
Swift is the dude.
I'm
Yeah,
asking who's
yeah.
going to be their number two. Is it
I think it's-
Hawkinson?
I
or
think
Amon-Ra?
Hawkinson legitimately might be their number one receiving target, honestly, because I think
Hmm.
I think they started experimenting with Amon-Ra in different ways to where I don't think he's going to get too many targets either receiving or he might get rushing. Like they literally had him like motion into the backfield in a couple games last year, but I think Hawkinson is there to keep the chains moving. And then you could use your JMO, your Amon-Ra St. Brown, or even Swift, take your
Yeah.
home run shots. And that's why I think that, like, if you look at Hawkinson had 84 targets in 12 games, so that's roughly 7 a game.
Right.
I think that might be 7 even. But then he was also averaging 12 points a game. Like he was a very dependable player
Right.
and he wasn't getting murdered. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
where
mean, and look at that, 84 targets in only 12 games.
exactly. So
That's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot, and I truly believe that he will be in the top 10. Like if
Okay.
he can stay healthy, he's top 10
Yeah.
bona fide.
Okay.
And now let's talk
Maybe
about
the
the
Li-
last guy. Oh wait,
Maybe
what's
the
that?
Lions should trade for Baker.
That thoughts crossed my
Actually,
mind. That thought has
that could
crossed
work.
because here's
Wait,
the
who
thing:
trade for Baker?
Detroit.
Lions.
The Lions.
Detroit. Ooh.
He's probably better than Jared
Yeah.
Goff.
Yes,
That's
he's
what,
maybe
but I
not by a
think he
lot.
is,
look
but enough to kind of see what you have with him.
better than
Yeah.
Goff. You can just wait until he gets cut because I don't believe Carolina whatsoever. I mean, we haven't done news in a while, but latest news is Carolina and Baker together. I don't think that's going to work. Not when you have to pay 18 mil to Darnold and you draft Matt Corral. But
Coral.
So
um,
what? Wait. So what about Jimmy G?
I think Jimmy G's a possibility.
I think
But
he's
I
gonna go
rather
to Carolina. Like there's all this smoke about
Baker.
Baker going to Carolina, and then they're gonna get Jimmy G, and everyone's gonna be like, well, okay, well, when did this happen?
Yeah,
they gotta
but
rip the
I
rug out from under people.
Baker to Detroit. I think Baker would actually fit the culture of Detroit. Funny enough,
And they have
I
a good
think,
offensive line.
a good offensive line. You have good weapons. You've seen what Baker can do, and I'm thinking if we're talking mid-season, Baker still hasn't played, or maybe like entering week 7, you're 3-3, and you're realizing we have a shot at this.
Yeah.
Let me give you a fifth for Baker. So you can finally we can finally take him off your hands.
Right.
And then you get through, you see what happens, you wait till either Jared Goff is really bad or gets hurt, Baker comes in, and then you figure out whether he's the guy you need, or do you need to draft somebody.
Here's a question. Do you think Baker is ever going to develop vision in the passing game and not miss wide open receivers?
Okay, so I have some theories on that. At part of I want to say yes, because this man's been in so many different systems that eventually he'll find one that he likes and figure it out. On the other hand, I thought that same way about Carson Wentz.
Ooh.
And that's where it's like,
All right, let's go to the next
yeah,
time. Darren Waller, dropper.
oh man, this hurt.
Darren Waller's a dropper.
Because you wasted. So like the big thing is,
Really?
I don't know if he
Gonna
drops
drop Darren Waller.
because he only
Because
played in
who's
11.
same question. Who's the top 2 for Vegas?
It's probably going to be Adams and Renfro.
And Renfro.
But I think
And who's after that? Their running back committee.
I think Waller, because McDaniels was still there in New England when they went forward with Aaron Hernandez and Gronk. Well, I probably shouldn't say Aaron Hernandez's name, but you know what I mean. But
That guy.
But when they kind of brought in the 2 tight ends, like Gronk being like the main target, that was McDaniels. So I can really see Waller still being a part of this scenario. Now, he's not going to get the 19 targets that John Gruden was willing to give him. But
Yeah.
I really do believe that Waller's still in the conversation. It's the problem is though, we're not talking top 3 anymore. We're talking maybe top 10.
Yeah. I agree with that assessment. I really do. Because I think with the addition of Packers wide receiver,
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, there you go. With the addition of Devontae Adams, I think he's going to take a lot of those targets away from Darren Waller. Now, if you look at his stats from last year, like 11 games, 93 targets.
But
that is ridiculous.
I will also counterpoint it with that. He had 3 quadrillion targets against Baltimore in week 1.
Yeah. Week 1, I think he had like 28 targets or something.
Well, yeah, he scored like 40
absolutely
points
ridiculous.
that game.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous. All Derek Carr could do was just throw Darren Waller the ball. So,
But that's back when they had John Gruden.
mm-hmm. So
Speaking of
think
another
he's-
lawsuit that the NFL has, but continue.
I do think that he is going to be a top 10, possibly, maybe top 15.
I mean, if we're really looking at it, we can see roughly 5 people from the top 10 fall.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like literally half of it could fall. Now who fills in those spots? And I think we've answered with 5, maybe 5
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Frymouth, Hawkinson, Waller. Probably another one could be Komet.
Yeah, Komet and
Maybe.
And potentially Noah Fant. Noah Fant's either going to sit, go up, or drop a little bit.
he's true sink or swim Fant for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to put it. Like he's
Yeah.
either going
Well-
to get in this Seattle system and do well and be that guy, maybe better than what he was in Denver. Cause honestly, I think Denver limited him. I think he's going to have way more opportunity in Seattle. It's just going to be about whether or not they can get it to him or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Komet, I could see him as a big riser, but I think it's time to play Josh's favorite game.
For the tight ends, our favorite game, bust, sleeper, and lock. Alex, welcome to your first time doing this. So basically, we
Well, he did it with the running backs.
no, he left right before.
I had to go.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
It sucks to be you.
So
I
now
was
now
excited
he
to do it
fi-
for the running back.
now he finally gets to play it though, which is great. So you're gonna pick a bust, you're gonna pick a sleeper, and then you're gonna pick a lock. So
Are we starting with Bus?
let's start with bust. We you know how this goes. So who is your tight end bust this year? Either someone going to fall 5+ spots down from the original spot from 2021, or just someone who is not going to do well. Who is it? I think there's an easy answer.
Well, I think the easy answer is Gronk if he doesn't come back. But
Oh yeah,
You
okay,
happen to
that-
have the list on handy?
you know what? Let me.
yeah, just share your screen.
I
James.
might
Yeah,
need to kind of.
We'll let everyone at home see our hard work,
Yeah, I mean we already did it for running backs. Let me share. the
aka
screen.
Ryan and Josh's hard work.
Yeah, dude. Oh, wide receivers melted my brain doing that.
I know. Spent a lot of time filling in those.
Alrighty,
blanks.
here it
Jeez.
is. So I will tell you, I already know my bust. Let's not include Gronk because that's obviously the IDK of the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go first? I need to ponder a little bit more.
Hunter Henry.
Oh gosh, that's literally what I was thinking. I should have just gone first. Okay. Yep, Hunter Henry. I could see that. Sorry, Alex.
We're talking about bus.
Yeah. I could see Dawson Knox being a bust.
Yeah,
That's
so
my
that-
bust. Dawson.
Okay,
Knox.
that's fair. That's fair. I'm okay with that.
I mean, Buffalo has a fairly easy schedule, but I just don't see
Oh,
him.
But with the competition of OJ Howard, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think he's.
I
this
think with
high
somebody
up
else
on the
eating
list next year.
snaps and
Gabriel
yeah.
Davis. We'll see what happens.
He's not going to
there.
be this high up on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
What do you
had-
think, Alex? Who's your bust?
Yeah, who is your bust, Alex?
I'm gonna go with Noah Fant, to be honest.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I think
So
Seattle.
you think he's
has-
going to be lower than number 12?
Yeah, I think because Seattle has when he traded him, he has chemistry with Drew Lock. Seattle still has DK and Lockett,
Yeah.
and they also drafted Kenneth Walker, and they bring back Rashad Penny. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they're a run heavy team because that's what Pete Carroll likes to do. So I don't really see Noah Fant really getting as many targets as he did before.
Noah Fant
I
will be
think
the
it's
next
fair.
Will Disley.
I think
Okay.
it's very fair.
No, Noah Fant will be the next Will Disley, and I will will it into existence.
Will Disley.
Dude, listen, Will Disley and Russell Wilson's season is one of my favorite in fantasy football history. I had both of them on my team, and I was cruising. God, that was such a good season.
Alrighty, guys.
Okay,
Who is your
sleeper.
sleeper? I have a shot. I have a shot in the dark.
I have one, but I want to keep it to myself because this knowledge is proprietary to me.
Ethan, I think you and I might have the same person.
Okay, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah, we'll
Josh.
talk about. All right. So
But my real sleeper to be a big mover is probably between Cole Kmet and TJ.
So Cole Kmet was definitely up there for me. Should I just say my shot in the dark now?
Yep. shot in the
No,
dark.
don't keep it to yourself.
No,
Do it. Do
Okay.
it. Peer
All right.
pressure.
guys, here's my sleeper. We talked about a former Broncos tight end being
No, literally stop. Literally stop.
It's the same one. Ethan and I were on the
Stop.
same page.
Stop giving out the knowledge.
Come
all right?
on.
No
Come
one
on, do
needs
it.
to know. Pick literally anybody else.
Alberto.
Stop. Oh my gosh. You're so wrong for that.
Why do you think that?
So really the big thing is I think he kind of outperformed Noah Fant last year, honestly. And I don't know. To me, it just looked a little bit better. Plus, now he is the only guy there with Russell Wilson. And
Yeah.
I think, with Nathaniel Hackett, who used a lot of tight ends, especially in Green Bay, and then even then attempted to with Blake Bortles and Jacksonville, I really do think he's not even within like the top 25, I don't believe. But man, watch out for him. That is one dude I would say you better be looking out for. Ethan's upset.
Ethan's mad. Ethan's big mad.
Yes, I love Albert O. I love
Alright.
Albert O so much.
Oh, if you love him, draft him 102,
Ryan,
103.
Ryan,
wherever you
I want
are.
you to go sit on your thumb.
Oh,
right?
if you love him so much, do it. Come on. Don't be all talk.
No,
All
he's
right.
not worth the 102. I would rather risk losing him than use the 102 on him. I would be totally okay losing him if
Look,
I can, if it
full-
meant not using the
All
102
right,
on him.
full disclosure, Ethan and I did not talk about Alberto.
No.
We both came to that conclusion separately.
Yeah. But I have another one too. So if you guys want to take Albert O, go ahead.
Well, yeah.
I have multiple
Can
options.
we
I've been
scroll
doing a
down
lot
a
of
little bit?
research. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Other people's sleepers that
Ryan.
aren't the fantasy geniuses. Ryan is muted, so he's talking to himself.
Sorry. What's up?
Your sleeper.
My sleeper. Shoot. Honestly, it's between Hawk and Fryermuth. I think
Farmuth is a really good pick.
Fryermuth
I like
could
that.
be top 10 if he gets the opportunity. He really good.
I could see that.
And Hawkinson, definitely. He's gonna be in the top 10.
Yeah. If he plays more than 12 games, he's going to be in the top 10.
Oh yeah, of course. Barring injury, he's gonna be in the top 10. So those are my sleepers.
Yeah. Alex, did you pick a sleeper?
My sleeper is Austin Hooper.
Of course it is.
That is
No,
I
think he'll be
appreciate
good.
the
Really?
shot and all right, where do you think Austin Hooper's gonna be? I appreciate the shot in the dark.
That's
Let's
a dark
see.
horse right there.
I honestly believe he has the potential to be top 20.
Top 20, I could believe that.
I can believe that as well.
I could believe that.
With Ryan
If he
Tannehill
gets-
throwing it to him.
I think he can be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely
if he
think
gets leaned on. But
he might have to.
yeah,
Honestly, depending on how Trey Burks and Robert Woods get
So
going.
Trey Burks has
ain't that the
asthma,
truth?
and
Yeah.
Robert Woods is coming off an injury, so that's why I think Cooper will be. a
Okay.
chance
I
during
can
the beginning of
totally
the
I
year.
can totally see that. All
All
right.
let's go to the bust, man. This is
Well-
or the lock. Sorry, the lock. I had more busts. I was thinking more busts, and
All right.
on the
Half
bus.
of this
Okay.
list is
So
bust.
so
you know what?
Locke-
Everyone's busting.
So Locke, all right. So Alex, Locke is going to be who are you going to put money on?
All right. Besides Mandrews, no one can pick Mandrews.
Yeah, no
all
one
right?
could
We're
no
not
one could pick
copying that here.
Mandrews.
Everybody knows my pick.
Yeah, Ryan is
He's on
picking
my
Pitts
team.
because he's a
Yeah, I
homer.
I mean, Kyle Pitts. Hey, he's a lock, man.
Yep.
What can I say?
Yeah.
Ryan's a homer. It's okay.
Him.
Was he home? Okay.
He's a homer.
Ooh, this is a good question.
Wow, you're having a hard time with this?
No,
Yeah.
because
Well, obviously
if
Pitts,
Ethan
but-
if Ethan's gonna yell at you for being Homer, then I'm just gonna do the same thing. I definitely think Kittle's in the conversation for top
Oh my
5.
gosh. Homer's
But-
the lot of you.
But
Okay,
if
all
I
right.
yeah,
All right, what's
my
yours then?
look, my
Ethan?
lock would have been Fryermuth.
Well, it's got to be Noah Fan at this point. Like, come on.
Oh my god.
I'll say, you know what, just for parody, I'll say Fryermuth is my lock. And I actually am okay with that answer
Okay.
too.
Okay. Fryermuth is your lock. All
I-
right.
I think if Gronk plays, he's my lock. If Gronk doesn't play,
Cole Kmet.
I really like. Yeah, Cole Kmet. Gotta be. Gotta be. I'll
He's
stick
a
with it.
sleeper. He's a sleeper.
He's-
I was gonna say Gasecki,
Dude,
but
so
I'll
sleepy.
rock with.
I've
Kmet.
been looking at Cole Kmet for a month now, just realizing like, oh, he's going to shoot up.
Yeah, his value is
draft
definitely
boards.
ETN. You know, it's definitely ETN. That's about where he's sitting.
It is. It is. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think you should totally go through with that.
yeah,
trade.
totally do that straight up.
Totally. Do it.
Yeah,
You get my 100% stamp of approval. Right there.
Alex, who's your lock?
My lock.
If
is
you say Hunter Henry, oh my
Dis-
god.
disappointing me as usual. That's my lock.
Okay, yeah. yeah.
lock of
Disappointing me as
disappointment.
usual. I'll have high hopes. Like, oh, cool. I only need like 10 points to win.
No,
Yeah,
he's gonna be a
it's,
homer
uh,
too. Go ahead and say Dalton Schultz and get your homer out of here.
Am I homer out of here?
Go ahead.
Oop,
I'm
yeah.
I'm ready for it. I'm sitting back.
Actually, I'm very high. Like, I think Schultz will be good too, but I'm high.
I
on
knew it.
Gesicki.
Wait, on who?
On who?
I have Mike Gesicki. Gesicki.
Oh, you would say
Hey,
Gesicki.
I like
Yeah.
that pick. I
Yeah.
like it.
Totally
I
good.
like it. Ethan's just butthurt over here.
Listen, we started the episode with the trade, and then we're talking about proprietary information getting just spilled all over the table. Before we've-
Proprietary
How can it be
Before-
proprietary
before we've had
information?
the
when we came in
opportunity
at
to
two
make
different
these
independent
moves.
conclusions.
When we started this podcast, we threw out proprietary information. All right.
Yeah, but we haven't made the moves yet because you lost
We
free agency.
share our information with the world.
Yeah, but I want to make the move and then share with the world that they need to make the move too.
Ah,
Yeah, but no one else can make the move if you make the move.
exactly.
Well, not everyone's in our league.
Well, then again, there's people in our league who feel like they're not in our league.
Well, yeah, there actually are people in our league who are actually not in our league, but it's okay.
Ooh, I have another sleeper pick.
Yes, bring
Okay.
it.
Okay, let's just say.
But it only depends on how much he plays this year. His quarterback plays this year. I think David Njoku will move up if Deshaun plays the majority of the year.
So, I really like the pick, but Deshaun Watson's not playing this
He's
year.
not playing
I
this
know.
year.
That's what I'm
No.
saying.
Did you?
It's
Well, hang on.
He's
Okay,
not
all right,
playing this
okay.
year.
Should we
Wait.
should we talk
I
about
want to
this?
bring some up. I want to bring something up really quick with this case. Did you see the latest statement from what the official representation of Deshaun Watson is for them pleading their case to the NFL?
Wow.
So basically, their stance with the NFL is going to be you can't punish Deshaun as much as you want to because you're supposed to be heavier on the owners for their conduct than the players. And you're letting all these different owners, aka Dan Snyder and Jerry Jones, get away with all of these things that they've done. And you want to suspend Deshaun for the entire season.
You're
That's
kidding.
basically
Is
their
that
argument.
really? Hold on.
So they're
hold on.
pointing
I'm-
fingers.
That is what
as
that is
their
the article I
defense.
was reading this morning.
They're
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
pointing
basically
fingers
saying
as
you're
defense.
their defense is pointing fingers at the owner, saying you're letting these owners get away, not holding them as strict as the players, and you wanted to suspend Deshaun for the entire season. How can you have that line of logic when you're not holding the owners accountable?
Hold on.
That's their argument.
I think
Oh,
that's
are you?
silly,
Is
though.
it the article in
Interesting.
Sports Illustrated?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
It is such an
I'll read
interesting
it. I'll
read.
read it.
Interesting.
What? Okay.
That's kind of weird to me because no one ever strives. Ooh, hey, I want to be like the next friggin' Dan Snyder and be an owner.
Oh god.
Whoa.
Oh god.
They
I
wanna
want to
be the
grow up
next
and be the
quarterback.
next Dan
Great
Snyder.
quarterback. So Deshaun Watson's more of an example on like kids and
Yeah.
young adults and friggin' Dan
Dude, I'm reading
Snyder.
the article. Whoa.
Dude, isn't it wild?
Okay, all right. So let me just bring up the three owners mentioned as far as the legal defense when it comes to Deshaun Watson
Jerry
here.
Jones, Dan
Jerry
Snyder.
Jones, Dan Snyder, Robert Kraft.
Yep.
Jeez.
Everything that goes on, I will be shocked if Deshaun Watson actually plays this year.
But I mean, with
Yeah.
that argument, honestly, fair enough.
But
Like,
that's
I mean, that's a fair enough
But
argument.
the NFL doesn't give two craps about.
it's
Well, yeah,
so the
Goodell
I
is the
think the only
worst.
way this gets like, oh hey, now we're cooking with gas here, is if it goes outside of the NFL's jurisdiction. So like if
Yeah.
we're talking like federal court here, honestly.
Yeah.
Because now you're aiming for the head, basically.
Well, and it still feels like the perception is that Deshaun is innocent, is kind of the vibe I'm getting from what the NFL is reporting on it and like their findings. Even though it looks bad,
I'm so
just
confused.
looking
I'll
at
be
it, but
honest. I mean,
yeah.
we haven't talked about it, but the New York Times article regarding Deshaun,
that was disturbing.
that was very disturbing, honestly. And
Yeah.
so that's where it's like we're getting basically a tale of two perspectives, honestly, to where
Yeah.
it's like I don't know
Question.
what to believe anymore. And
Question is
yeah.
is all of it eyewitness testimony, or is there actual like video proof?
No, it's all hearsay.
Photography.
It's
It-
a lot.
it's
It's,
all
a lot of
hearsay.
It's a lot
All
of
hearsay.
hearsay, but the New York Times article did have did connect dots, I guess.
But is it corroborated?
No,
Like,
because there's all
You
one-on-one
being
appointments.
the criminal justice major, I would actually rely heavily on you when it comes to
Basically, well, the only thing that was semi corroborated that they talked about in that New York Times article was the lady, I forget her name, from the parlor who is matching him with all these different therapists through that same company. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know
No.
what you're talking about, but
So he was
it's-
going to one parlor and he was basically talking to her, and she was the one kind of scheduling all the appointments. And she was scheduling him with different girls. And apparently she knew that he was making suggestive requests and was still scheduling appointments and wasn't saying anything.
and here's
Is kind of the report.
where I think
Interesting.
this is where the legal defense gets very interesting, is that also the New York Times article basically says no, Houston knew about this.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, if you're going to play that game, I mean,
Wow.
first off, that's another owner kind of implicated
'Cause-
into
yeah.
this.
Because they're saying that
situation, but-
Houston was scheduling some of his appointments as well, is the other thing.
well, that the head security guy gave him NDAs or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. But it's I don't
So
know.
if Houston
a
was the one
lot
that
of-
blew the whistle on that situation, that backfired.
I don't
yeah.
I don't think it as I mean, that's what we originally, when we first heard about all this, is like, wow, the timing feels very weird. And especially
And it was.
And
I
especially-
think it still is weird.
the lawyer and how he was portraying everything, especially on his Instagram. It's like, that's not normal.
None
I-
of this case has been normal.
Yeah,
Not 1 second of this case.
You know,
has been
I
normal.
totally agree with that sentiment. None of it has been normal. And as far as Deshaun, I don't think Deshaun's playing this year. It's
I have no idea.
no one. I think it's going to be either commissioner's exempt list or he's suspended. But what throws why he hasn't been on the commissioner's exempt list yet is because there's nothing legally as far as like when it comes to charges or anything. If the grand jury said we're going to indict you, he's on commissioner exempt list, bada bing, bada
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, it's
Because
easy.
that grand jury list said no, there's not enough here to indict him. That's why he's not on there. But
Right.
now the Browns are in limbo. Legitimately, it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Did you
what
see
happens-
the poll that was taken too from Browns fans?
I did not. What was the?
I think
poll?
it was 20 something thousand Browns fans they polled, and 70% of them said that they didn't want Deshaun to be their quarterback.
I think a lot of people have had the issue, but also it from the sentiment I'm getting, and I may be wrong. So if you're a Browns fan, please correct me on this. It sounds like Haslam wanted this move, the owner of the Browns.
Mhm.
And I think by telling everyone you're going to go all in on this move, burn the bridge with Baker. The Browns were right there. They almost had a good thing going and then burned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen with this because it's like what they would get him on, what the NFL would get him on is a conduct thing, right? Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It gets
In
interesting.
Njoku, if you have Deshaun Watson and Njoku, I think is definitely a sleeper. But
Yeah.
I mean, with everything we've just mentioned with him, who knows?
It's a who knows, and I don't think if you even have Brissett or even another quarterback, I don't think it helps Njoku's case.
It helps
So
Nick Chubb's case.
it would, and it also
Yeah.
help. I mean, they also have Amari Cooper there, and then DPJ is probably going to
Here's
be
an
a
idea.
receiver too.
Here's an idea that I don't think anyone's really thought of. But like, if Deshaun Watson does get suspended or is on the exempt list, what if the 49ers and Browns make a trade for each quarterback?
So I don't think they'll do each quarterback because 49ers have Trey
Yeah.
Lance. But I
Right.
like the idea. I think that's very possible, and I think that may be why Jimmy G just hasn't been traded yet. However, Cleveland also signed Jacoby Brissett immediately after signing Deshaun Watson. To me,
Yeah, that was their insurance policy.
to me,
Yeah.
it's the the insurance policy, but also what's weirder is I forgot where this is mentioned on when it comes to serious offenses and like there's a special committee within the NFL. Jimmy Haslam's wife is on that committee, who would be overseeing this whole Deshaun Watson scenario.
Right.
So it's an
I don't know. With it being a conduct issue, it's like, well, what can you do? Because if there's no evidence to say he did something wrong, how can you suspend him for conduct? Now, I don't want to
Yeah.
make it sound like we're taking a position. I'm just saying, theoretically speaking, if this is a conduct issue,
Accusations are not proof.
because if they
Are
do
not
suspend
proof
him,
of that thing happening.
right? If they do suspend him, one, they're saying we believe in the story that the prosecution side is saying, but two, they're saying even if he is innocent, they're saying that players can't have or like consensual relations with people, which isn't a good look either. I think either way, it's not a good look.
Well, I mean, and even if you want to take it there, it's like, oh, this guy is going to get suspended for a season, but if you are basically saying that what he did is even an ounce true, then that makes him look very predatorish. And it's like, are you going to have that image and the first quarterback to get a fully guaranteed mega deal too?
Yeah.
Which is, so it's like the face of your league is going to be this guy.
Yeah.
So
that's why I say no matter which way they go, it's going to be bad.
No matter which way, I think it's fair to say this is going to get ugly.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, there's another celebrity trial that happened recently. I think this thing does really need to go to court because I think with all the hearsay, with
the
all
public
the
needs to be in the loop.
Yeah, and I think
because I think that's the problem is no one knows.
You need an affirmative yes or no.
All people know is the accusations.
Right.
They know that people have accused him and that a majority of them who he's been acquitted from. I don't know how that works.
I'm not 100%.
But the grand jury did not choose to go on with the trial. So I don't know.
Yeah, but to answer
honestly, it's all speculation right now.
To answer Alex's question, I think if Deshaun Watson somehow plays, Njoku is a sleeper.
Definitely.
But if he doesn't, by all means, look far and away from every Cleveland player. If Deshaun Watson doesn't, other than Nick Chubb, I would say that.
Even then, iffy.
Yeah, very iffy. But
because if all they have is a run game.
Yeah. What about their defense?
Box. Chubb will get a couple of yards, but.
Yeah, but I mean, even then,
maybe they'll finally use Chubb in the passing game then too, like what they should have been doing.
What they should have been doing, and what would have helped Ethan win the first Dynasty Junkies championship.
Oh my God! It's okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Did I struck a chord there?
It's okay.
Now, I mean, if I'm going down, fun fact, and I'll give credit to Alex for this. Austin Hooper was tight end 24.
You know who's going to explode this season? Evan Ingram.
That's a good one. Oh, but it's Dan Arnold and Evan Ingram.
I don't know.
Oh, dude, this is where I kind of wish we had rookies. If we put rookies in this conversation,
Yeah, but that's not. We're not putting rookies. In the
yeah, I
conversation.
No
know.
rookies allowed.
But Mo
you know
Alley
what
Cox
this
is
has
tight end
been?
This is
27.
the STAT-A-THON, Josh.
But do you know what this has been, Josh? A good episode, and it has
Yeah.
reached its conclusion.
It certainly has.
I hope you all enjoyed the brief news segment. I think it was minorly important.
I
but-
mean, it's definitely something. I mean, I'll say it. We kind of alluded to it here and there, along with the Brian Flores lawsuit as well. But
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
we don't like to
more-
take sides.
yeah, we don't want to take sides. We're just going to tell you, hey, this
What's
is
going
all
on.
what's going on, and then basically what we'll tell you is how does this impact fantasy. That's all we're here for. And but more than anything, y'all came here to learn about tight ends, and tight ends is what you got, and
And a little extra,
and a little
just
and some tinfoil
fun.
hat conspiracy theories.
that's what
but-
we're here for.
But
That should be the championship trophy. It should be a tinfoil hat.
My gosh.
it's like your big moves worked.
Your
Oh,
conspiracy.
okay, hold on. I'm going to do this with every new guest. I'm going to show them the trophy idea we're thinking of.
It's going to be a steaming turd with googly eyes.
No, that's specifically for Alex.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
where's
Get
my
it right.
toilet?
It's going to be the
Yeah,
health award.
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, hold on.
That's what we're going to call it. It's going to be the health award.
Yeah. Oh.
Baltimore. That's messed
gee.
up. We both
Yeah.
know I ain't gonna be in last place again.
Okay. All right.
We
don't
don't know that.
We
we don't
asked.
know
we
that.
know
that.
We know that.
I don't get
We
last
do
place.
not know that.
Okay. All right.
There's
No,
no
no.
way Michaela will beat me over again. There's no possibility.
Oh.
I beat her one-on-one in a matchup, and she just got
Yeah.
lucky and got a few extra.
Hold
wins.
on. All right. We asked Paul
But
this,
you-
but I want to ask Alex this. Who do you think is in last place? Who do you think is a sleeper?
Ooh.
And who do you think is an actual contender? Pick
Ooh.
like bust sleeper lock for all of our league.
Can I look at the app real quick? To see?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
through
go
it.
for it,
Do
go
it.
for
I
it, go
forgot
for
who
it.
I do.
Do it.
I'll leave myself out of it, obviously.
But while
Respect.
he's looking at that, thank you all for taking this journey with us. You can check us out on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, even though I'm pretty sure they have to be invited to that. So, if you know us in real life, we'll invite you.
Yeah, we'll
'cause,
yeah.
we love you.
We're currently figuring that out.
Yeah, if not, just reach out. We'll invite you. We have a fun little Facebook.
We
family.
welcome everyone with open arms.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Except
and
maybe Deshaun Watson.
And if you have any questions, please.
I don't know if
questions
I-
about
Yes.
anything.
Any fantasy
Anything
questions?
football. Yeah.
Look,
anything fantasy
the
football related.
Maybe don't ask Ryan, but me and Josh are here.
yeah,
Look, funny.
the questions you have or you are wondering about now, the things that you're researching now, it's going to be the difference between you being in last place or you winning a championship. So we welcome any questions. We welcome anything fantasy related. That's what we're
Twitter,
here for.
Instagram. Reach out to
Yep,
us.
reach
Last Place
out.
Fantasy Football Podcast.
Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook.
Yep, and leave a comment
Or
in
leave a
the
comment.
YouTube.
Speaking of which, yeah, you can find us on YouTube. That's where you can see our beautiful faces.
And Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Exactly.
If you only want to listen to our beautiful voices.
Which those are sexy too.
I got nothing there. I had something
Yeah.
smart and just lost it
Yeah,
automatic.
yeah, probably for the best. Honestly, the way.
Probably, yeah.
All
today's
right,
going.
Alex.
Probably.
All right.
So is
well,
it
what is
the,
it?
the bus first again?
So who do you think's
Yeah.
going to be
Gonna
in
be last?
last? Who do you think's going to be a riser, and who do you think's going to be our champion for this next season?
Based on the stats I've been looking at, I think I still don't know who everybody is, but I think Team Ashar has a chance to be a riser.
Okay, so
Hey,
sleeper
okay.
is
Ashley
Ashley.
Richter.
Sleeper is Ashley. Okay.
Ashley
If she
Richter is
plays
going to be the
well.
riser. Is sleeper.
Like, obviously, I don't know how involved she is with in fantasy or not.
Yeah.
Because I honestly thought last year Michaela had a chance to be a sleeper,
Ah,
and then she just
Josh runs her team. It's
stopped
fine.
playing after.
I
week
do
two.
not
Yeah,
run
Josh
her
runs her
team.
team.
I do
you
not run
do?
her team.
I know.
I think she's a sleeper based on her team.
Yeah, she's still.
I think
oh, dear.
whoever Challengers is gonna be in the battle for last place.
Phillip
Oh, Philip.
Oh, Phillips team.
is gonna be last place.
With
Last
wow,
place.
with
Didn't have the
JJ and
potential.
King Henry
Wow.
battling for
Yeah.
last
Wow.
place.
And Herbert.
And Herbert.
Herbert and Akers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at the depth and everything. He's a couple injuries from not having anybody.
I mean, that's,
That's
what happened
fair.
last
No,
year.
that's really fair.
I'm in that same position. I literally.
Yeah.
And what was it?
depth than Phillip, though, Ryan.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it.
Not by a lot, but still better. I didn't say it was a lot better.
And you have the ultimate
I don't
stack.
know.
Rig.
Duran fam could be last place too.
That's what my
Oh,
pick
that's a
is
good
for
pick. All right.
last.
Okay.
Mm.
Because they
Calvin Ridley's
they don't have
bankroll.
much depth either, and they have Baker
Yeah.
as their backup. Him and Jordan Love behind Russ.
Oh.
Wilson. So if
Ooh.
Russ gets injured, you got Baker that may not play, and you got Jordan Love that won't play.
Yikes.
All right. Yee, that's it. Ooh, okay. Now who's
He's got to be
who's
fishing for a quarterback.
yeah, who's
this
your
year.
lock? Who's your lock to be in contention?
If you say Michaela, I swear.
No homers here.
No, because I know Michaela won't look at her roster unless I remind her, which I don't know if I want to do that. So I remind her a couple last year. I'm like, hey, it's Thursday. Please tell me you set your team up. I need you to beat whoever you're playing, so it'll move me up in the rankings.
Please, please.
Please, for the love of God.
my
Oh,
gosh.
God.
Honestly, I
many
think
good
Ryan's
memes.
team is pretty good, pretty solid.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Okay, you think
Well,
Ryan can be in contention?
Well, that's one
I
of
think
us.
he could be like he has.
So you think Ryan will be the champion next year?
I never said that.
Well, that's what we're
That's what you're
asking.
saying.
That's what we're asking.
That's what
We're
you're
literally
saying.
we're
Well, if
asking you
that's the
right now,
case-
Alex, who is going to be the champion
Yeah,
next year?
who do
And
you
said
think can be a
Ryan.
champion?
Well, I want to say myself because you gotta have that confidence that you're gonna be. The champion.
Oh,
I don't play
Boo.
to get second
Look,
place.
everybody
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're self.
Everybody
That's what I'm saying.
just
That's
You gotta
why I
pick
took
somebody else.
myself out
Look,
of
that goes without saying, Alex. We need
You-
hardcore
okay,
Alex just wait, hold on. Alex
analysis.
just put the curse on himself. You never say that. That's literally the one thing you
curse?
don't say.
How am I gonna get possibly worse? I was
Oh,
last place.
God. Alex just cursed
You
himself.
could be. You
You
could
could
be our
repeat it.
first. Yeah, I was gonna say
There's
you
no
could
Could be
be
the
our
first repeat offender.
our
There's
first
no way.
repeat
There's
toilet
no
bowl
way I'm
winner.
gonna be last again.
You can have your name on there twice.
Oh, man.
There's no
Look,
way. 'cause
look,
if
here-
I don't know if I'm gonna help Michaela out now.
You could go win.
Oh, you're
what
just gonna
you could do-
drag her.
What you could do is make it worse and go winless
Oh.
next year.
Yeah.
There's no way Michaela's gonna beat me. I promise you that. I will eventually. be
Guys,
quiet
clip
and say, hey,
this.
Maybe you should put my opinions on the
Clip
Clip-
this.
urge
clip
my
it.
go off.
Clip the moment where everything went wrong for Alex. All right, who's going to be the champion next year, Alex?
Well, if I can't say myself, based on roster, I do think that Shadow Star probably will be.
Oh, okay.
Joker,
Okay,
whoever.
okay.
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 That's me, buddy.
Puffing Ethan up a little bit. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Stroke the
Based
ego.
on the roster,
Interesting.
I see.
I mean, I think it could be. I still want to watch it throughout the season, but I think my team's
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
deep.
we're gonna have to keep a list of all the predictions we've made this year because it's been
Dude,
been wild.
Here's the biggest
Our-
prediction.
we have
I
so
will
many
not
tinfoil
finish
hats.
last place again.
Look, all right.
Shot.
By
Okay.
you saying that, and if you do,
I won't.
the trophy will be called the Alex Help.
Right, I mean, right now it's
Like,
just
I'm sorry.
right now it's just health. If you lose again, it will be the health award.
Like I said, I was a Hunter Henry touchdown away from not getting last.
But he scored 9.
Okay.
He scored 9 of them.
That's what I'm saying. There were some weeks he got a touchdown. I was like, oh, I caught my touchdown. Let me leave the game and not come back until next week. That's what he
Well,
did
I mean,
last
yeah,
night.
that Patriots Buffalo
Frustrating.
game was pretty rough.
Well, yeah, because
That's
we're looking at like category 45 wins.
And you know what I have to say to that? Josh Allen.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
the
that man doesn't
Josh
care.
Allen.
doesn't care.
That man doesn't care.
That
Yeah.
that man can throw.
Although I do have stuff on Diggs, so I want Josh Allen to be
Dude,
hot
Josh
this year.
Allen and Diggs are going to go off this year.
That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I'm saying.
I don't
They have
know
one of
about
the easier
Diggs,
schedules.
but, yeah.
If as long as Diggs stays healthy, He could be a top 5 wide receiver.
Hopefully he will.
But
Maybe.
You know what else
Maybe.
is top 5 though? This podcast. And thank you again for everyone for listening to the last
that was
place
so
fans.
that was awful.
that was forced.
So
That was
Yeah,
so
that was
bad.
forced.
You really
It-
thought you
So
did something
corny.
good.
No, I
You
honestly,
really thought you did something.
You know what? What's that?
yeah, that one failed.
It's podcast.
I will be honest with you. It sounded a lot better in my head. God, I'm just gonna end this. early.
This is what
Gosh.
happens when Josh's wife leaves.
This is what happens when we
this
have
is
to
the
talk
version
about
we
tight ends.
Hey, we should talk about kickers
Oh,
next.
man.
Oh God, no.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know. My
Look, there's-
kicker scored 1 point. In
There's
the
only
championship.
2
It
kickers.
might be relevant.
There's only 2 kickers you have to talk about. The
Mine's
goat,
one
Justin.
of-
The goat, Justin Tucker, and the
Young
man,
Winston.
myth, the legend, Young Koo.
Somebody
What?
get that man his cleats back.
Yeah,
You
give
gotta
it-
talk about Tyler Bass. He's gonna go off this.
Shut
year.
up.
No,
Oh,
no,
just-
He's gonna go
no,
off
shut
no,
up.
this year.
no. Are
See,
we?
and
Really?
Alex is gonna sit here at the end of next season and be like, "Why did everything go wrong for me? Why?" Like, and it's this moment right now. You predicted yourself to win. You said you talked all this crap.
Oh, my gosh.
You were staring at karma in the face.
You literally
It-
said you dragged
Oh.
your sister through the mud and during the fantasy season.
I did.
Yeah.
I wish I wouldn't have. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten last. Could have gotten 8.
Oh, cool. That's any better.
I'm Ethan. That's Josh. This is Ryan. Our
I
special
would have.
guest
I would
Alex,
have won if Dak
owner
would
of the
have
Hilton
Curtis
Ward.
Calf and if Zeke would have stayed healthy.
and this is the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Later.